coming at you again today from Robeson County, North Carolina, where, if you haven't gathered, if you haven't watched the map, if you haven't seen the news, well, there's no news out of Robeson County, but the weather map. It is cold and it's raining. I don't mind being cold. I don't mind being wet, but I can't stand being cold and wet. Bones are hurting this morning. But it is what it is. It has to take place. It's part of the natural progression of the weather patterns. I still think they're calling for a potential wintry mix if everything falls into place. We might not get anything, but they're calling the southeast possibly to get a blanket of snow during this first week of December. Of historic note, 79 years ago, the Japanese task force with 4 carriers, I believe it's 4 carriers, launched a surprise and devastating attack on the United States Naval Base at Pearl Harbor. They didn't outright destroy the entire Pacific Fleet, but they did cripple it for quite some time. This was the events that led to the United States' formal entry into World War II, folks. So, get a chance today, just take a moment to pause and reflect. And remember those that gave their lives that day. The majority of which still sit entombed in the hull of the USS Arizona. But anyway, folks, it is Monday, the beginning of the new week, and I think some things are supposed to happen in Congress today. We shall see what takes place. Needless to say, Communist Socialist Party of America is intent on trying to rule by dictatorial force, passing bills and measures to try and restrict everybody's movements, what they can and can't buy, and when and where, and all this happy horse mess. Just watch what comes out of your states, folks. Monitor what's going on locally in your area. And see what's going on. See what's taking place. Like I said, we've got a governor here that ain't worth 2 ounces of rat spit. He's attempting to rule by dictatorial force with his executive orders. I don't think really too many people outside of Wake and Durham County are complying with, per se. The other thing is the lies. We've talked about this before. The lies upon the lies upon the lies upon the lies that the media keeps putting out there. Nobody want to tell the truth. Nobody want to do investigative reporting and get to the bottom of anything. They're hearing a lie and they run with it. Whatever that lie might be. Further antagonizing the fuel to the fire. The divide, if you will. Refused to call out the Biden-Harris campaign for all of its corruption. They continue to sensationalize all the lies that they continue to spout. and they sensationalize all the things that camp is going to do once they're in power. One of which is Joe Biden's promise to make it expensive for you and I, the American citizen, to own and possess firearms. Yeah. See, if they can't outright ban the Second Amendment, they will attempt to pass legislation to make it next to impossible for firearms ownership by means of fees and taxes, is what they'll call it. One of his proposals is a $200 tax on every magazine that you own. Now, mind you, how are they going to find out how many magazines you own? In reality, you have to tell them. But sooner or later, it'd be one of those things too, like this COVID stuff, where they want your friends and neighbors to report on you, i.e. Communist Socialist Party. If anybody out there knows anything about the Cold War and the study of the communist movement in the Soviet Union and Eastern Bloc nations after World War II, and North Korea and China and Vietnam, just to name some of the most popular ones. The party gets to the point they want you to report on your friends and neighbors. They'll do that by hook or crook, or for a time reward. You'll get an extra meat serving this week if you tell us what your neighbors are going on. Oh, we'll make sure your application to buy a car gets approved if you'll just tell us what your neighbors are doing. You see, that's how things in the communist movement take place. Just like California, New York, and North Carolina, where the governors issued by mandate of an executive order telling you, John Q. Public, how many people you can have in your home for a holiday gathering. How many people can be in your place of worship, but yet let the protesters run amok and the numbers untold. That, my friends, is what they're doing. And here's the thing. They issue these policies and they tell you in these policies you can only have no more than 10 people in your home or no more than 8 people in your home. And you need to be 6 feet apart in your own abode. What next? When you can be intimate with your spouse? When you can leave your home? What days your block, your neighborhood, your group of people can go to the grocery store? When you can buy gas? What days you can drive your car? And the thing is, a lot of this is who's going to enforce it. And again, many of the police departments around here in North Carolina, a lot of them when Governor Roy Boy Pooper Scooper come out, and the sheriff's departments too, many of them did, kind of come out and said, you know what, the governor can pass the executive orders he wants, but as frivolous as this one is, we're not going to enforce it. Oh, that's great and wonderful for right now. And I commend those departments for saying that. But sooner or later, if the ilk of this party is allowed to continue to maintain control of the executive office, they'll eventually start to get rid of these people in those departments and get people in place that will back the regime. You see, reading his most latest for North Carolina, his most latest executive order, you see, if you go into a business and you're not wearing a face covering, and someone reports you for being in there without face covering because the establishment didn't make you wear one, the state can fine that business $500 for every incident. So now you're making the business owner, the store owner, the police, by extortion. Because now if the store owner calls the police because you, the customer, who has constitutional rights, refuses to leave because you feel the mask mandate is unconstitutional, which it is, the police show up and say, we're not going to enforce this. We're not going to write this guy a fine or a ticket. Or, sir, the store owner wants you to leave. And you refuse and you get arrested for that. Or the police tell you to put on a mask and you say no and they write you a ticket, give you a fine. That is what it's coming down to. So, back to the whole thing with firearms and the mandate of $200 tax per magazine that you might own. For every long arm you have, assault rifle. Joe Biden doesn't know the difference between an assault rifle and his butthole. And I'm not talking about the one on his butt. I'm talking about the one under his nose and above his chin. I keep saying Joe Biden. Reality is it's Kamala Harris and the DNC. But that's how they're going to get people fined for how many ever magazines they got. You'll invite your friend over. He'll bring his liberal girlfriend with him. Y'all are comparing guns. And she's sitting there counting, unbeknownst to you and her boyfriend, that you've got 21 magazines. Next thing you know, you're getting a knock on the door by the state's tax people. Sir, here you go. I understand you've got 21 gun magazines. Here's your bill for $4,200. Oh, and it's payable within the end of the month. If not, we're going to garnish your wages until we get the amount. And oh, by the way, see now, it's the end of the year. You know, this bill comes due again at the beginning of the year. So now, in reality, it's almost $8,400. Think about it. And if you report their party for tearing down statues and monuments, you're racist, you're misogynist, you're a bigot, you're everything under the sun, you're a radical right-winger. These are the times we're headed to, folks, if we don't get these people out of power. I don't have a 100% solution. But if this farce of election is allowed to happen, drastic measures will need to be taken. Anyway, folks, that's all I got for today. I just wanted to share that with you, my thoughts on some of these draconian measures that these Democratic, Communist, Socialist Party American governors are introducing within their states. And it's funny how a lot of them mirror each other. See, again, I said it's all I had for you. I got a few more things, I guess. Roy Boy Pooper Scooper is trying to pass gun legislation here in North Carolina that basically mirrors California. You know, magazine capacity ban, having to show ID and a background check to buy ammunition, a whole litany of things. I think he's in support of everyone should have a mental health exam before they go and buy a firearm. It just befuddles me, the logic of some of these people on the left. It really does. Consider the majority of them are hypocrites, because I know a lot of liberals who don't want certain people to have guns, but it's okay for them to have them. I've said that before. It's not really about getting rid of guns. It's about letting them have control. Like Joe Biden, why can't they just shoot him in the leg? Open yourself up for more litigation, lawsuits. This whole defund the police. It's got to stop, folks. It's got to stop. Till tomorrow, folks, God bless, take care, have a great start to your week. Be safe out there. Keep your ear to the ground, your eyes open, your head on a swivel. And until tomorrow, it's the old soldier out.